1480 series two-piece. It's a Spicer-built shaft, two-piece shaft for a Dodge 3/4 ton Cummins truck for Cody Graffam. And he's been experiencing problems with this, mainly in the center bearing region, and tearing up center bearings and repeatedly, and other mysterious stuff going on. So he brought it over to me to take a look at it. So it came here, and the stub and slip of the slip was jammed into the back of the transfer case all the way in. So we're going to go over what it is now, and we'll talk about how we got to this point. So right now, that's cruising. Turn it up. That's 2,500 RPM right there. 0 at the transfer case, dead flat 0. 0 at the center bearing, dead flat 0. That's actually a Ford center bearing that I used instead of the traditional one that they use on the Dodges because it's a more rugged bearing. And 0 at the rear axle. So it's new stub, new center bearing, new slip, new weld yoke there because the former slip yoke was all clapped out, the splines were gone, and it had a collision with the weld yoke, which squashed the round where the U-joints go into the letter D. So that's never good. So I'm going to just slow this down. We'll talk about the rest of it. This slip yoke is the one out of the transfer case in a previous video where I examined it. It was wobbling like crazy, and I took the balancer ring off. So we're rerunning that. So this section here, I put a stub and slip on it. So then after I got into looking into the problem of why it was jamming the front section forward into the transfer case repeatedly, I checked this all out, and I liked the length of this shaft from the slip yoke where it engaged the transfer case to the center bearing hanger. So I put the stub and slip on it, and I looked at the rear shaft, and come to find out the rear shaft was too long. So that would explain a lot. And it's 1 3/8 too long, which also coincides with the U-joint cap. So there was some evidence that somewhere in this thing's history that the rear shaft had been retubed because it had a shipping sticker on it that comes on tubing, like to guys like me that build drive shafts, when it's new, when you get the tubing out of the tube to build a drive shaft. But I've never seen one on an OE drive shaft. So that was a little bit of a tell right there. So don't know exactly what happened, but it could be that somebody measured outside of cap to outside of cap instead of, who knows, but it was conveniently 1 3/8 too long, and that's what the U-joint caps are. So we got a few other things to talk about. I'll try and go real quick. Grease fitting in the slip yoke like I always do, although it's all brand new. Boot kit. The boot is going to live right here. I got to slide it out a little bit. That's the factory boot kit. That's going to go on there when I assemble the truck. And so here's the balancer ring that I took off. So about a 5-pound balancer weight. But you can see where my thumb is, where it's all shiny. That was literally grinding on the back of the transfer case because it was jammed in so far and dislodged off the slip yoke. So that's not good. But in the process of doing that, it ate up this bellows. And so you can see where this is the seal. You can see inside there, that's the seal. And this ring that is bonded to the seal is the seal body. And the bellows, this is flexible. It kind of rides in this area here on the slip yoke when it's assembled on the truck. This ring is ground off. It's no longer there. So this is another one of those getting caught in the nick of time, because, oops, that's not good to have that chewing on the back of the transfer case output housing. So I'm gonna get this all painted up. Oh, and we need to talk about the center bearing hanger. The center bearing hanger was pretty rusty, and the captured nuts, so they don't put a nut up inside of here. One was ruined. It was burned off with a torch and all messed up. And the other one, it was all there, but it came out really hard. So I took them both off, and I made this element to go in here. And so that's going to be the nuts, and it's just going to slide in there. And if it ever fails again, you just go pull it right out and fix it. And I'm gonna put zinc to this, and I'm gonna paint these all with primer and black, regular enamel. So they're going in the paint booth next, and I'm gonna put the zinc to that thing, and we're gonna change that seal, and then get it all reassembled back in the truck for Cody, and get him his truck back.